Hello and welcome to today's episode, in which I take the idea from a previous video and turn it into something similar but different. A couple of years ago I made some granola using some vegan protein shake, and I've just realised I've still got another bag of it. The idea for that granola came about because the shake is quite gloopy. I wondered, could you maybe use that to make granola instead of having to add fat and sugars? And it worked really well. It comes out nice and crunchy, and you've also got lots of nutrients, protein, all that kind of good stuff in on top of the good bits from the oats and seeds, etc. The flavour of this one is salted caramel. The bag's closed, I've never tasted it, so no idea what the flavour is going to be like. I'm trying not to use any sugar in here, but I might end up putting some maple syrup in if it doesn't taste great, but we'll see. You know, I'm going to pop in some other bits and pieces as well, nuts, seeds, etc. So I think I'm going to mix up the shake, and then that can sit and kind of absorb. I don't think it needs that, but just in case. My oven's preheating at 150°C, which is around 300 Fahrenheit, thereabouts. Whenever I make granola, I stir it every kind of 20 minutes, and bits on the top go much darker. So then you stir it to get an even colour. Obviously with a bar kind of thing, I'm not going to be able to change the layout of it. That's a terrible way of explaining it. I can't stir it. It's going to be a compact sheet kind of thing. I might go 140, at least for this attempt, and then I can always raise that in future. So I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of the protein powder. I'm going to do a cup of soy milk. It's around 240 mils. Give that a good stir. And then this should thicken up and become nice and gloopy. I'm sure it was much thicker before, so I might need to add a few more tablespoons in, but we'll leave that to rest while I do the rest of the bits. I'm going to do 2.5 cups of oats. These are jumbo rolled oats. Use whatever you like, but I just really like the texture of the jumbo. I'm going to do 1/2 cup of ground almonds. I've just got quite a big amount of ground almonds at the moment, so nice opportunity to use some up. I'm going to use some pecans. I've just remembered I thought about doing some tiger nuts, which aren't actually a nut at all, they're a tuber, but they need soaking. Forgot to do it, so it's too late now. That's all the nuts chopped down, like 60 grams. And then I'm just gonna have a look at the shake, see what the consistency is like. Yeah, so it is still a little bit runny, isn't it? I might do another tablespoon. Might do one more. Yeah, I think that's better. Even though it's salted caramel, it's not very salty. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put a bit more salt in. So it's like 1/4 teaspoon. And then back to the mixture. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. And then I've got this Omega seed mix. So there's pumpkin, sunflower, flax and sesame. Very well, let's do 4, why not? None of these measurements need to be hard and fast kind of thing. I've got these 100% dark chocolate flakes. I think I'm going to chuck some of those in. And then I might also cover the bottom in chocolate once they're done baking. The 100% dark chocolate is it's very intense. There's no sugar in there really. It's literally just 100% cocoa solids, which is quite bitter. But I think with the protein shake, because that has got some sweetness, I think it should work quite well. I'm going to mix this together. Okay, so that looks well combined. Back to the mixture, give that a stir. Before I mix it together, I'm just gonna set up my baking tray. A good way of getting grease-proof to stay inside something is to scrunch it up. Like that. I'm worried this one is a little bit too small, but we'll try it. Then we've got the gloopiness. Pour that over. Mix this together. I'm using a kind of smushing. Using a smushing motion, that's the technical term for it. So it's just to really make sure that the shake is coating every individual piece as much as possible. I'm hoping that will bind everything together into a stable bar. Yeah, I think that pan should be ideal size, because I need to kind of use the sides of the pan to hold it so I can pack it in tight. Drop the mixture in. So then go back in and kind of just trying to roughly eyeball it into an even amount in every part of the tray, and then I'll start going in and flattening it. That's taking forever. I might try wetting my hands and use my hands to press it down. Yeah, much faster. I want to try and get it fairly even, purely because will make it bake evenly. Whereas if you've got places that are really thick and others that are really thin, not going to be equal. So now I need to figure out a way of slicing this. I've just busted out my ruler. You do not need to go to this extent. I just fancy being a bit precise for once. So I've split the length into 4, and then I think maybe 3. So I think it might be better to go in with a big knife. The reason for cutting it now is twofold. One, it's going to be much easier to cut it now than try and get precise cuts when it's baked, but also it's going to create a tiny amount of space, which I'm hoping will allow the heat to get through and cook in between them. There's not going to be a huge amount of space, but at least more than it has now. So you can see the thickness of the bars. I think that's going to be a good amount. So let's get these in the oven. No idea how long this is going to take to go crisp all the way through, so I'm planning for around an hour, hour and a half, something like that. I've set my timer for 20 minutes, and then I'll probably pull it out, have a look, maybe give it a squish and see. And I'm also going to try and rotate the tin because I've got a hot spot in the oven where it's a bit hotter in one place, it bakes faster. So by spinning the tray around, it will help take care of that a little bit. This is, as I say, a fan oven, so if yours isn't, you're going to want to go probably 20 degrees higher, so 170. I'll do the conversion on screen for that. I'm going to roll into another video now, so by the time I've finished that and the bars are out of the oven and cooled down, I'll see what my energy levels are like, and if I've got enough left over, I will dunk the bottom in some melted chocolate. So our protein shake cereal bars are all done and ready to be tried. It's worse on, like, to the eye than it is on camera. There's a definite bend left to right. I just had a look on the nutrition information for the shake, and per 100 grams, it's 5% fat and less than 0.5% sugar. They use stevia and sucralose, which are kind of sweeteners. The seeds and the nuts obviously have fat in them and probably a little bit of sugar, but there's no added sugar, like table sugar or even maple syrup, nothing like that. I want to illustrate that bend that way. Yeah, it's very weird. It's been quite some time since I've baked flapjacks or anything like that, so I can't tell you why that's happening. But yeah, perhaps during the baking, every 20 minutes, just flatten it down. Put, if you've got like a silicone sheet or anything, just put that on and then press your hand down, or use a potato masher, that kind of thing. It's staying together really nicely. It's not falling apart, which is great. So let's go in. That's really good. It's not sugary. You know, some cereal bars can be really overwhelmingly sweet. It's got a sweetness to it, but it's very mild. Nice crunchy texture. It's crunchy all the way through. Everything tastes nicely toasted as well. There's no kind of raw flavour of oats or anything like that. In terms of putting chocolate on the bottom, I'm undecided because it is going to add sugar into it. And I don't know if it actually needs it. It would be nice, but that would make it more luxurious. It doesn't need it. So I think I'll have a think overnight, and then if I decide to do it, I'll maybe film it in close up and slot the process in. To melt the chocolate, you can either do it in a double boiler, so put a pan of water on the stove and then put a bowl on top of it. Put the chocolate in the top bowl, because you don't want to directly heat chocolate on the stove because it can seize. Like, it splits apart and goes really grainy and horrible. Or what I was planning on doing was doing it in the microwave. Put the pieces in there for like a minute at a time and then keep checking it and stirring it until it goes really nice and liquid. Because of that bend, I'd probably have to use the silicone brush to brush it on, and then put it on a piece of greaseproof paper or a silicone sheet until it sets firm again. I think the 100% chocolate that I put in there, paired with the sweetness from the shake and the little bit of sweetness from the nuts, etc., is actually enough. It's got a really nice kind of mild chocolatey flavour alongside the caramel. Yeah, that's a very nice way of making something at home, making it a bit healthier as well. When I make them again, I think I put might double the amount of chocolate. I think it could tolerate it. Really nice texture though, as you're biting into it, because you get some where it's just oats, and then you get some with seeds, some with nuts. For storing things like this, same with granola, if you want it to stay super crispy, it's better to store it in a glass vessel of some sort. So granola, for example, I put it in big glass jars, like a Kilner jar or a biscotti type jar. I don't know if I've got anything that's big enough that's going to take all of those, so I might have to put it in a Tupperware. I don't know why it happens, but putting things in plastic, it makes it go a bit softer, whereas glass keeps it super crispy. If you know the reason for that, feel free to let me know in the comments. I've just realised I'm in the wrong top. I changed when I did the snacks video and forgot to change back. Oh well, I want to take this moment to say hello and a great big thank you to my supporters over on Patreon. It's really nice to have a group of people there, giving a bit of money, don't get me wrong, but also just being there. You know, things have been a bit up and down recently, but having them there is a nice little reminder that people do support me. If you'd like to get in on that action, I'll leave the link down in the description for you. If you'd like lots more plant-based recipes suited for all levels of skill and hunger, like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you look for the little bell icon and give it a tap, you'll get an alert as soon as a new one's published. Then while you're waiting for the next one, have a look at this.